a new security concept released today. So it's busy, but we are doing great.
So we're also getting a lot of alpha. Does that mean
Yep. And a lot of going on behind the scenes. Yep.
As you, Johan already was listening yesterday to one of our CEs. Like, we usually wait a couple of minutes for more people to join to get settled, and then we're gonna start off. And Matt Hatter is gonna do some grilling, some roasting, as per usual.
Perfect. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I was here yesterday. Really interesting what these guys have up their sleeves. So a few things that we have in common, like the 4337 account abstraction that we will implement in Siva too. And it's a really interesting concept. What this basically means is you get rid of the static private key that your wallet is bound to. So usually you cannot give a wallet, when you have a wallet, you cannot give them to someone else because the private key is, of course, basically breached. And account abstraction allows you to use another encryption algorithm, which is currently called ECDSA, but it's just too technical. It's basically the static algorithm. And account abstraction lets you plug in, for example, social login. So you can log in with Discord, with Twitter, and social recovery, which is, of course, important because we know, of course, that private key seed phrases get lost, you know, and this is effective against all these cases.
Wow. Already a lot to digest here for me.
Yeah. We I just try to not talk too much about all the stuff I want to talk about.
Like, it will be my part sometimes to translate this alien stuff to the human audience.
That would be great, but I think it just sounds already like there's a lot of exciting stuff to Siva that is just goes beyond the fact of just messaging and making money off of it, right?
Yeah, 100%. It's really about having a concept for projects to make them successful. This is really the main thought behind Siva. This is why you do not see any logins or any secret strings attached to anything. We want you to have tools to bring joy and fun to your community. This is what we are about. It goes far beyond. We are known basically for our Discord bot, but you will see during this CEE that we will reward human engagements. And we have a Discord bot because we have to start somewhere. And it's more like a movement in the mentality that we want to bring to the whole space, and how to onboard new people into Web3. This is the really the biggest thing about Siva, that you earn crypto and participate actively in the Web3 ecosystem without even knowing that you do it. And that's one of the most mind-blowing things. It's really so easy on the surface, but if you dive deep into it, there's really a lot of moving parts in the whole ecosystem that fit together really perfectly.
Awesome stuff. I think that's a good note. You said deep dive. I think we should get started into the deep dive here. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Welcome to The Pillars. We are a community-led space aimed at supporting protocols and educating our investors through intelligent, meaningful conversation. Here we ask the tough questions you all want answered. Now let me introduce to you Jörn and Lars from Siva, the co-founders of Siva, to our community members that are listening in here now. Siva, you might have already, that name was already floating around our space because we implemented one of their main bot, the Siva bot, which is as they say, an Engage2Earn bot. You can earn reward points just by messaging, by reacting, basically by just being a part of the space, by participating what you already and get rewarded for what you already are doing in this space. But that's not all. There's way more to it. It's an intricate system. Also, I had the pleasure to talk to Jörn, also a bit with Lars, just a bit of texting, but these guys are incredibly smart, and also dear to my heart, as they're my country neighbors in the north, the Germans. Willkommen, hallo Jungs. And yeah, we have, as you see, we have a special giveaway. And if I'm not mistaken, it's on the one hand 5 of the starter NFT passes, which allows you to withdraw the tokens, withdraw the points to tokens that you have earned for engaging. Usually we do a random giveaway, but for this one, I think we want to give it away in the spirit of participating and engaging to earning. We definitely want to give it away to people that have engaged a lot, participated a lot here in the conversation, asked a lot of questions, just be around. And as well as the VC card, right? Like with the color was again the silver one, right?
Yep, exactly.
And that we're going to tie to a random giveaway to someone of you guys listening in here. As you also know, you have to join the Siva Discord, which we're going to share. Anyways, I hope everyone enjoys. The community questions channel is open for you, and I'm off the stage now, and I'm passing the mic on to Matt Hatter.
Thank you very much, David. Gentlemen, how are we?
Doing great. Thank you. What a great introduction, and thanks for having us. It will be amazing.
Pleasure. Thank you for coming in. I'm looking forward to this conversation. It's interesting because it's going to be almost like a two-parter. There's the one hand, on the one hand, the parts that we get to see through your white paper, kind of going through your Discord, and as you were alluding to with David, on the other side, there's a whole bunch of things that you guys are wanting to build out, are building out, that we don't see, that you guys are going to be excited to talk about as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the most important part that they've just mentioned is that we reward natural engagement. And so you don't have to provide proof, you don't have to make a screenshot, you just have to do what you do on an everyday basis, but now with the good feeling that you earn something. And the second most important thing, if I can jump right in, is what he said about thank you, about the points that you earn. It's really important to understand that they basically have no value, and this is because we have to confirm to terms and services and rules and regulations, and social medias do not allow you to earn something that has an immediate value. That's how it's written down. So see it more like payback points. And these payback points, and the cool thing that enables us to do is you can choose to in which tokens you want to withdraw your engagement points that you earned through natural engagements. This is what we do in a nutshell.
So is it fair to say that, you know, I'm going to dial back and kind of ask you guys for your background, how you got into crypto, but before I do that, is it fair to say then that you're really giving people credit for their time? And it's that credit that you're giving them that they're allowed to then cash in or trade in for where the real value is?
Exactly. And this is what we really see, is that this is the value that they bring to projects and companies, is the time that you spend in their communities. By whatever engagements you do, you spend time on it. And this is what we do. We call it it's micro incentivation of human engagements. And we don't even stop in the digital world. If you imagine you can authenticate with an NFT on a concert, this is an event that we can measure, and then we can reward it, and we can send a printed on-demand T-shirt directly to the address of the fan. This is how far we can go with Siva, because we can hook into all services that lets us measure engagements. We already deployed on Twitter, but when Elon decided to change the API plans, it basically broke, and we came up with a new concept. This is basically unbreakable, but we are already in talks with someone from Twitter to maybe we can fix some things, and we will have a Telegram client, and we'll be on YouTube and Twitch too. So all services that are quote unquote relevant will be included in Siva, and everything will be in a unified backend. This is the
Right.
cool thing. We really want to stay as easy as possible. As you know, you don't have to know anything about Web3 to start earning with Siva, and we have AI implemented in our bot, and you can ask the AI, for example, what is a wallet address, what is a blockchain,
Yes.
and so on. And yeah, this is what we really work in this area of mass adoption. So we basically wrapped it down to have no requirements besides having a Discord account, having a Twitter account, or just log in on our website. These are
Right.
the requirements.
Great, thank you. Yeah, this will be a really fascinating conversation because on the one hand, you've got the excitement of being able to earn, and we've, as David said, we've implemented it here, so everybody is now going to be able to earn in the way that you guys are going to be able to explain to them that they can. We have YouTubers currently sitting in the audience as well, so I'm sure their ears pricked up when they heard that people will be able to earn on YouTube. We have Telegram heavy people as well. I'm already seeing questions about Twitter, which you kind of touched upon. But at the same time, there's a real philosophical conversation that can happen around, where tracking becomes too much. Because on the one hand, you're going to have the excitement of being able to get that credit for your engagement. On the other hand, you're going to have people that might be slightly worried that we're moving towards what we traditionally thought was a dystopian world, the Black Mirror worlds. But actually, that's becoming very fast a reality at this point, right?
Yeah, true, 100%. On the one hand, on the other hand, as we know, we are from Germany. We have to comply to, I think, one of the most cruel rules and regulations and privacy policies. This is why we have an impress on our website where we are with our real name. We are fully doxed with our address. And we treat Siva as a company, and this is when we come to the revenue streams. I can tell you a little bit more about it, and this is what it makes everything basically possible. And that's true. But you have to see it this way. You already get tracked. We are currently in Discord. You use Twitter. You use Facebook. If you have an Android phone, if you use TikTok on your phone, oh my god, then you definitely got tracked. And but we do not sell the data. And on the one hand, and on the other hand is that the data get tracked anyways. But now you receive immediate value, not immediate value, but now you have value from it. You can basically monetize your own engagements, and this is what it's really not comparable to anything that we've seen.
Well, it's a form of taking back control of that data, right? The data suddenly becomes your power, not somebody else's power. And like you say, we are being tracked everywhere, and the majority of the time, although the GDPR rules did come in and are very strict in a lot of countries, a lot of the time that data is used and monetized without you ever getting any benefit from that. And in this case, what you're doing is trying to flip the switch and say, hey, actually, it's your time, it's your effort, they're your words, it's your writing. You should be able to be rewarded. But
exactly
before we get into all of the nitty gritty on this, and there's going to be tons to get into, I'd like to learn about you two. I'd like to understand a little bit about your backgrounds and really what brought you to crypto.
Yeah, awesome. So we are in IT, especially me, for over 25 years now. I'm 42 years, and I worked for 7 years as an IT security auditor for KPMG. And my brother is in crypto for, I think, 12 years, Lars, correct?
Exactly. I had started in 2012, yeah.
Yeah, and he basically brought me into crypto, and I'm the lead developer behind Siva. And so I see everything more from a technical side. This is why we don't have PFPs. We use NFTs actually for what they are, in my opinion, are supposed to do. And this is to authenticate and maybe authorize stuff. And this is what we use our NFTs for. These are basically access cards to Web3. And he brought me into it. And the development of websites, for example. So we are in the internet since the very beginning. This is why we always like Web 1, Web 2, Web 3 is like everything is interconnected, and Web 1 is reading, Web 2 is writing, Web 3 is owning. And this is what we celebrate. And we've been literally one of the first 10,000 people who launched a website back in the days. So we
Right.
are familiar with decentralization, with the internet, with communities, and now it's really the time to do it. And even the whole idea of Siva, of micro incentivation, wasn't possible before blockchain technology. We can't send you a fraction of a dollar to your I don't know, PayPal account, something like this. So this is really just become a reality through the use of technology, and especially, of course, blockchain technology.
So at what point did you guys kind of have a light bulb, and whose light bulb was it first, and which one of the brothers kind of came up with it, I suppose, or thought about it and then kind of relayed it to the other one? When did you think actually we want to reward this micro engagement? This is a path that we can go down, and we believe we can create something truly unique.
Maybe let's say we needed a solution, and
Exactly. Yeah.
Well put.
So yeah, this was
You were
really
spending that much time online that you wanted to get paid for it, and you wanted to find a solution for that.
No, not really. We wanted to reward our community with in a way that makes sense, and and we have another project, and we were out for the looks for something that Siva does. And in my opinion, it was just a matter of research to come up with a whole list of projects that do these kind of things. But we came up with exactly 0 results. Up to this day, there's nothing comparable to Siva. This is what we can talk about a little bit later about the quote unquote competition that came up recently. But they are not really close to what we do and how we do it. And I lost track of what I
So
was
the
about to
question
say.
was, which one of you guys had the spark of an idea?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it was as you know, we are real life brothers, and we sat down and were in search for a solution, and then it was basically really teamwork from both of us to say let's do something similar. I was a little bit triggered from another developer backend who said that the backend looks trash, but I should deal with it. And directly underneath was the price tag of $19 per month. And this was the point in time where I said, okay, we have to come up with our own solution. And Lars said, then we can use tokens, So it was teamwork. Yep.
I just remember also this and this level bot thing, and we found this thing, or we had this paywall thing. We hate this. And we found paywall solutions, and this was also one of the sparks, let me say like this. What I can't say exactly who had this idea or what, but we had this idea together because we needed a solution basically. And
it was more like a process to come up with a whole idea. And even now we have pivoted with Siva last year because we wanted to hard-headed like be the platform for everyone to provide their tokens. But we saw that I think after the 15th request from projects that they totally love the idea behind it and they want to use it, but they only want to provide their own tokens and they want to use their own NFTs as a requirement. And so it's basically make it their own,
Right.
And then we pivoted, and now we have this white label solution. So everything we talk about can be 100% customized to a company's or project's needs. So if you have an NFT, you can use your NFTs as a requirement to earn a certain reward. And if you have a token, you can have your token as a requirement to earn a reward or as a withdraw option. And you can implement all NFTs and all ERC20 compatible tokens. We are compatible with Polygon and currently Avalanche and Binance and ETH soon. So we definitely support 18 blockchains currently, but not all are implemented because we don't have so much time to talk to all the projects on the different chains. So we implement them as we see fit.
Right. Great. Thank you. It's going to be interesting, this conversation, because and I'm sure you guys get this a lot, or you get these questions a lot from spaces, but it takes a while for the community to perhaps realize actually the potential of what they have just by talking. And as you guys are going to start explaining how they can earn, where they can, collect their money for the credit that you're giving them, etc., I think more and more people are going to start asking questions, and I can already see the community questions. It's really vibrant with people now asking a lot of different things. So before we get there, and I know you've already covered a little bit of it, can you give me a bird's eye view of really what Siva is? Now, specifically, because we will get into the white label solutions and how different Discords or different space owners can utilize you, but specifically from the point of view of an investor and or someone who is engaging a ton on Discord and wants to get those incentives.
Yeah, 100%. So I think it's best to divide the two versions that we have. We have the public version and we have the custom version. The public version is mainly the what we call marketing killer tool. So if you have, for example, a token that you want to promote, you can apply for a partner token, and we provide your token through our Engage2Earn ecosystem. So we are in 205 servers. We have the stats on our website, so you can look them up in real time. I think around 23,000 users. And so you really get more exposure to your token. We provide a link to them so they can really get familiar with your project and they can directly jump into your project. This is what really makes the marketing part. And for the custom version, it's if you want to provide more utility for your company or for your project. And of course, always for your community. This is what we are for. We are for communities. And so if you want to, for example, provide Engage2Earn as a way in your tokenomics to give back to your community, this is the best way to do it with Siva, because you can basically make an engagement or participation-based reward system in your own community with your own token.
Right.
And it can even go so far that, because everything is so highly modular in the back end, that you, for example, could have your own game and have the resources in tokens earned through engagement in your community. And yeah, this is it's really amazing to compare these the both of these versions. I think this is what explains what Siva is at best to compare the different versions. It's really so different use cases.
Yes, great, thank you. Now, from a community member's point of view, they're going to want to know, right, what is it that you're measuring? How are you measuring it? You know, what are the metrics you're going by? On the one hand, they're saying that you'll get reaction points, you can get short sentence points. Then there's a paragraph that will say, you know, there's meaningful conversation that is more preferable, that gives extra points. How is Siva differentiating between all of these points? What kind of metrics are you going by to reward people?
Yeah, awesome. We have in Discord, we have 4 engagement times. We have add reaction, which gives you 10 engagement points. We have write a message, gives you 20 engagement points. And if you write a long message, which means more than 20 words, then you receive 30 engagement points. And what we track is the user ID, of course, to store the points, the channel and the guild. So we don't store the email address, we don't store any content. We just use the length of the message to measure how long the message basically is, and to reward more meaningful content, because if you write longer you should get more rewards. And one last thing, which is currently disabled but will be back, I think, with the next deployment. If you write something that someone likes, so if he puts a reaction to your message, you receive 20% of the engagement points that the user that puts the reaction to your message receives. So you basically passively participate. And these are the 3 engagement types in Siva. And when you earn something, not every time you write something. This is important to know too. So there's a random cooldown between these 3 engagement types. And with the new iteration, we have these engagement types separate. So you can write a small message, you can add a reaction, and you can write a long message. And all of these engagement types have separate cooldowns. So but of course, as I said, what doesn't work is write GM, write GM, write GM, write GM. This doesn't work. There's a random cooldown between all rewarded engagements. And we have, of course, security measurements in the back end. And we just updated today to a new heat-based system where we, I don't want to go into detail in this system, of course, but there will be, of course, automatic checks that there's no malicious use in the whole ecosystem, because we want to protect, of course, the tokens from our custom bot users and from our partners too. And this is, I think, one of the most important questions we will come to when we come to the actual question: who owns the tokens that we provide in our public ecosystem? I think this will be.
And we will get to that. In terms of any of the writing that people can put in, the immediate question anybody is going to ask is, but what if I just put the same word 100 times over into a long sentence? I understand that you are trying to incentivize people for giving meaningful conversations, because you're also giving incentive to the reactions that conversation might get, which is great. So what you're trying to force people to do on a micro level is put real thought into what it is that they're delivering into their conversation, so that they can gain as much reaction as possible. But what if you do get someone who is not spamming in terms of a single word one after the other, but is starting to just write gibberish?
Beautiful question. Yeah. And this is another strength of what we do. Because you can attach a Discord role as a requirement to receive a reward. And what we ask custom bot or projects to do is they have moderators and administrators. And they are, as we all know, one of the most important parts and pillars of a project. And with Siva, you can fine granularly control, for example, give your mods more engagement points so they earn more. And this is really the only thing that we can do in a ethical way, if you ask me. So I know what you mean. We could, for example, use AI to analyze what you have written. But then it's for me, it's like a privacy breach. I don't want to do this. It even feels a little bit weird to count how many words you write. But for me, it's ethically okay just to count how many words you write, because we want to reward more meaningful content, and that this content is more meaningful is basically the responsibility from the moderators and administrators in the community, which of course have to be cool and be on point. And this is why we provide a cool way for projects to set it up in a way that their moderators and administrators participate even more from engagement. As a way of payment, if you will.
Right. Yeah. I like that you say that you use the word ethical. You and I have spoken privately, and you used that word a couple of times when we spoke privately about Siva. And I like that you're thinking about the ethical implications of what it is that you're doing, and you're not wanting to overstep the ethical boundaries that you believe are there. And actually on such a micro level that you're really thinking through every single step in such a finite amount of detail that you're really dialing into even something like, I don't want to track what words somebody's putting down, because that's irrelevant. But also on the flip side of the coin, what I think is interesting here is, by doing it this way, what you're actually also doing is not just saying to anybody in a Discord, you bring Siva in, people can earn, and it will become the Wild West of conversation. No, what you're actually saying is people are going to be able to earn, but at the same time, you're also going to have to, as a server owner, put effort and time into ensuring that the bot is utilized in the best way possible, which is to drive meaningful conversations. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yeah, exactly. And this is on top of it, we really don't want to be like in your face. So we have these notifications that you can enable for every rewarded engagement. And what we really see in communities is, and this is what we get as response from long-term users, is that they have this good feeling when they engage in a community where they see the Siva bot. And it's not that they, in the first days, you check your balance after every fifth engagement to see how much you have earned. But this is not what we really want. We want you to participate and to earn, but focus on the community and not on what you have earned. And so it gets more in the subconscious good feeling that you have earned something for participating, because you bring value to the projects by engaging. And there's no way until now to reward you for this. And especially not in this highly automated way how we do it.
Yes, I entirely agree with you. And as you know, and as we've discussed, that is exactly the ethos that we're employing here at the Pillars. As we move into what we're calling our Web3 model, that's exactly what we want to do. Is we want to reward the community through their engagement, because we recognize that actually the most important people in this space are the community first and foremost, and they are the ones that should be rewarded. So let's talk a little bit about those rewards, a little bit about the tokens. The first question I'm going to ask, and one of the things I noticed on the white paper, is that there is a team section, and it kind of alludes to the fact that you can have, through team benefits, someone, a moderator, for example, that might be able to, whereas before they were paid, they might be able to earn some things just through moderating, because of course they're going to spend most of the time sitting in a Discord. My first question is, do you have an idea of how much time needs to be spent for someone to earn a meaningful amount of money per month, for example, if that was their sole focus?
Oh man, another beautiful question. Yes, of course. So we calculated everything so that if you are a regular engager, which means on a daily basis with around 20 to 50 rewarded engagements, you can make $5 to $10 per month, and this might for the public ecosystem. So this is, of course,
Right.
if you are in a community that has the custom version from Siva, you can even give someone 1 ETH for a reaction if you want. And if you know someone who has this, invite me to the server, please. And so with Siva, we of course, because we are international and we are 100% aware that $5 in Nigeria is something completely different than $5 in Hollywood. So we have to balance it out to make it attractive to everyone, basically. We can't give you $1 per engagement. This is we would love to, but we of course have to balance everything out to make it attractive. And we really are here for the long term. So you will really have the rewards the longer and the regular you use the system and support your favorite community.
Right, understood. One of my questions was exactly going to be that, the impact that this has on those countries where the minimum wage is significantly lower than what we consider to be, the Western world. This can have a big impact, especially if the whitelist model is implemented and perhaps the intent is to give away slightly more than $10, $20 a month, for example. There is a real opportunity for people to be earning, whatever a typical moderator wage might be it $400, $500 a month. There is a real opportunity for those people to earn that kind of money through that whitelist solution.
Exactly. Yeah, and we already see it working. For example, in GM Gaming, they have I think 7 tokens implemented. For example, the peer token from Vulcan Forge, and so you can earn more there. But as I said, Siva is in more than 205 servers. You maybe have stumbled upon it in a server and not even know about it. And as I said, this is how we operate. We don't want you to say, I don't want you to be like in your face. No, we are really we go down the serious route, and we are in production for nearly over a year now. So we released the first production version on the 7th of July last year, and haven't had a single security breach. Of course, this is the first natural and human reaction is to try to trick the system and to mass engage. And trust me, it's we had all people just coming back to us and say, okay, they gave up and they stick to regular engagements. It's really the way to go.
Right. Question for you, Lars, as the marketing man.
Sure.
If you want to sit in the background and one of the things you want to have is a particularly organic growth, and you don't want to be in your face, how, from a marketing point of view, do you then tackle getting your name out there? And at what point do you think actually taking that approach might stagnate how fast we can grow? And for the sake of what we're trying to create here, we need to grow faster, and we need to maybe dial into a bit more of an in-your-face marketing plan.
This in-your-face marketing, this is one of the things, this loud screaming thing, on Twitter or X nowadays. This was not our intention from the beginning, and our goal was to grow organically and step by step, knowing our customers, know your customer. I think this is also one of our favorite words in the last couple of months, and yeah, we have this experience. We have so many meetings with companies and in regards to marketing on Twitter, YouTube, and all these social media things. And let me say, this is the level of seriousness is not compatible with our philosophy with growing organically. Let me say like this, botting on and these things. When you have like a guy who is, for example, new on Twitter, and he is the PR and marketing expert for NFTs, ICO, and blah blah blah, and it turns out that 15,000 followers are not real people,
Right.
right? And this was from the beginning our goal to grow organically, not to be loud. You know, this step by step thing. We have this announcements. We started with announcements on Twitter, and we have these AMAs. We did a lot of AMAs and spaces for sure. And yeah, this is the way.
Great, thank you, and I appreciate that approach. But I do have a question on what kind of challenges that then brings for you in the current environment that we work in. Are you always thinking about kind of unique ways, because you're bringing obviously a marketing perspective to the table, and the loud, I understand not wanting to go down that direction. Unfortunately, everybody right now is going down that direction. That's the route people seem to want to take. So what kind of challenges are you faced with, and what kind of things are you always trying to come up with to buck that trend while still making sure that Siva is something that eventually is going to be as big as you want it to be?
Regarding this current situation, the bear market in general, we have this, we are just building, you know, we have
Right.
this philosophy, we are doing our thing, never look left or right and let the people do their thing and cry about the bear market and the coin situation and all these things going on, and this DEX is down and all these things. You
Right.
know,
And I do. And hopefully they're crying about it in a Discord that uses Siva and earning at the same time, right?
exactly. I would love to see that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Okay, I understand.
yeah.
But maybe let me add maybe that you talked about challenges is of course an exposure thing. So the louder you scream, the more ears are hearing it, and this is why we appreciate CEEs like this so much. You know, because it's like we really go like real recognize real. You know, we don't want
Yes.
to be in this. I don't know. We've been in hundreds of Twitter Spaces and AMAs, and we've been through it all. And yeah, we always try
Right.
to keep it real. And if we don't have big things to talk about, then we don't have to. I know this is everyone is like you have to push marketing and scream loud and
First of
yeah, but
all,
the
we are all
downside is
humans,
exposure.
you know. Yeah. First of all, we are all humans.
I think more from a point of view, when somebody and when people get excited about a product, they want to see it everywhere, right? And one of the things that can then happen is that they want to see, marketing is something, especially in this particular space, that comes up often because they really want to know that it's being pushed out to everybody. They want to see price appreciation in a token, whosever token that might be. And we're going to talk about your token in a second. And it's one of those things where if that's not your philosophy, and like you said, you're letting the bear market go by, you've got a ton of exciting things coming out, and you understand for your product that if you deliver on what you say you're going to deliver on, it's going to be big in its own right organically anyway, because it will make more sense to have you in than not.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, our community plays a big role in spreading the word. They always bring new people in, and this is what we appreciate a lot, of course. And yeah, exactly. This is we just push forward. We know that we still have a unique approach on, especially technology-wise. And yeah, the bear market will be over, and I think it's all about positioning yourself in the right lane right now. You know,
Right.
and this is what we do. We're pushing features like crazy. As I said, we will have Vote to Earn, where we basically have DAO voting with weighted votes, and So we
Yeah,
give you more tools.
Great. In terms of if someone's hopping around Discords, if someone's enjoying speaking into different Discords, and they're maybe in 2, 3, 4, 5 different Discords that have Siva running, I assume their rewards are all aggregated into one spot, so that they don't have to perhaps claim 5 different times or cash in 5 different times. It will go into one pot that they can then use.
Yeah, if it's the public version, the free public version, yeah, then that's correct. And for the custom version, as I said, it's really your own Engage2Earn ecosystem. So you can set it up on your own. It's completely encapsulated from the public ecosystem. So it's true for the public version, which is in over 205 servers and can be invited for free, but not for the custom version. So this is something, as I said, something really completely separate from the public version.
Right. Okay. Talk to me about your token.
Yeah, awesome. We have the Siva token, and we have a lot of use cases, and we have still an ongoing ITO in the first place. Maybe I start in the beginning. So the important part to know is that we utilize a really new technology that hasn't been there before in a way that we do it. We might make our ITO for our token utilizing NFTs. And what this basically means is what you mint, see it more like a check with the token stored on it as a claim. And if you mint the NFT, this is what's up for the giveaway, for example, is the silver edition. That holds 2,000 Siva. And these tokens get emitted over time. So we have the vesting period and locking period, if you're familiar with these terms. Just let me know, Matt Hedder, if I should explain what a vesting and locking period is.
No, I think for the most part, people will understand vesting and locking periods.
Okay, perfect. So how it normally works when you have a token launch, and this is the problem that we see, as I already talked about ethical approaches. This is the most fair approach that we could come up with for an ITO, because it's not a security in the first place, because the token doesn't even exist when you mint the NFT. This is one of the really cool technology parts that we have. What happens is when you mint the NFT, the vesting period and the locking period get set on the NFT. So everyone has their own vesting and locking period. And what this, of course, prevents is the biggest problem in crypto pump and dump schemes. Normally, you have this big ending vesting period or this big ending locking period, and everyone tries to dump the first to make the biggest profit. And so this is by design not possible with our token, because you have your own vesting period and locking period. And we have one NFT contract which has 3 different versions of the same technology, basically. And so we have the silver edition, the gold edition, and the black edition. And basically the only difference is the locking period. So the silver edition has 0 locking period and a vesting period of 180 days. What this means is the tokens start to emit immediately. And then you can go to the harvest page on our website, click on harvest, and this mints the token into existence to your wallet. The gold edition has a locking period of 6 months and again a vesting period of 6 months. And the black edition has a locking period of 12 months and again a vesting period of 6 months. And of course, the biggest difference is the resulting token price. So for the silver edition, you receive 20 Siva per $1. And for the gold edition, 32, and for the black edition, 50. Or better, to compare it with the token price, it's for the silver edition 0.05, for the gold edition 0.03, and for the black edition 0.02. And we are already listed on QuickSwap. So you can already, if you, for example, mint a silver edition right now, the tokens start to emit. You have to wait a few blocks. We have 40,000 blocks per day on the Polygon ecosystem, on the Polygon blockchain. And so you can already harvest Siva, go to QuickSwap and swap it. And this is how our ITO works. And so you, of course, have to wait for 180 days to have all the tokens that are on the NFT that they are emitted. And this is how we do our ITO. And yeah, this is, as I said, there's a lot to it. And of course, we have a lot of utility for our token. We came up with 15 utilities in total. And a lot of new...
Please talk me through those.
Yeah, awesome. One of the coolest concepts that we came up with is more like a buzzwordy thing, is what we call liquid license key. So if you want to use the various features that we have in our ecosystem, as I talked about the vote to earn feature, or if you want to use the white label solution and all the small tools that we will have in the future, you currently need to have one of our founder passes. And what this liquid license key concept means is that you can buy a certain amount of Siva and put it on your Relay wallet. But what then happens in the background is you pay 1 Siva per day for the usage of the features, and so it trickles down, and it's more like a payback mechanism. And this is one of the utilities. Another one is that you receive more engagement points when you engage in the public ecosystem. And so you earn more crypto just by holding the ITO NFT or Siva as the token itself. You will be eligible for weekly and monthly raffles in our ecosystem. You have let me just put out the list. If you want to join our Discord server, we have a dedicated channel to the utilities, and
Yes.
and let's just go through them one by one. So as I said, you earn additional engagement points. Yeah, one of the main reasons why we have a token is that we are, of course, more focused towards Web3 projects. And if you know the space, there are a lot of NFT projects. And if they want to use the Siva Engage2Earn ecosystem and they don't have their own tokens,
Right.
we ask them to use the Siva as the reward resource they can give back to their community. They can implement, of course, every token, but we ask them to do so. So this is one of the utilities. You can, of course, participate in decentralized trading. This is, of course, like a utility that every listed token has. You gain governance rights, so we have a lot of moving parts and variables in our ecosystem that we want to have our members to vote on, like the multiplier and various cooldowns. And this is what you earn voting rights to. You get access to a special channel in our Discord. You fund the development, of course, of the whole Siva Engage2Earn ecosystem and the whole company. This is so if the token rises because you have funded the whole company and the whole idea, you of course participate too. You can
Right.
utilize various partner services. So I know that you are familiar with BetSwirl. We are in
Yes.
talks with them to have our token on their website as an option to wager with and play a few cool rounds in the decentralized casino. Yeah,
Great.
we
There's a lot going on, so I'll interject for
Yeah.
a second because I can imagine. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice a bit. I can imagine there's a lot of heads spinning right now with everything that you have going on. So I want to dial into maybe one or two of these features that you think are most important, not for yourselves, but of course for the people that are going to be able to utilize them. So which one of these are you most excited about for the communities that are going to be engaging with you?
You mean token wise, or you mean in
I
general?
mean utility wise.
For the token.
Yes, for the token, of the utilities that you're listing off, is there any one in particular that you are most excited by?
Yeah. I think it's the HODL-based staking system that we will bring out within, I think, the next 1 month will be
Right.
the release. And what this means is it's basically non-custodial staking. I don't really like to use the word staking because it's so hooked in their minds from everyone that you have to give up your custody of your tokens, and we hate this. As you made, I think we made our points clear that we really celebrate decentralization and the culture. And so you just have to hold them on your wallet, and then you will receive. And the cool thing is we are Engage2Earn, so an engagement-based factor will be incorporated into the staking rewards that you will receive on a daily basis just by holding the Siva token. So we have it's basically soft staking, if you will.
Okay, thank you. We're going to talk about the whitelist solution. You already mentioned, who owns the tokens, especially the ones of the people that are putting their own tokens up. Before we do that, I want to break it up a tiny bit. One of the things I said at the beginning of this is that, tracking incentivation for human engagement is going to bring certain philosophical questions up. In your mind, are you bringing people together? Do you believe that this is going to ultimately lead to bringing people together? Or are we moving into a stage where we're just teaching people to be transactional with their interactions? And in actual fact, perhaps what we might see is there suddenly becomes a bit of a disconnect where people only want to engage if there's some money to be earned.
I think we see both tendencies, but I think the second one is really, really low. So, and this is what why we separated the engagement types, for example, because we saw members not engaging until the cooldown is over, and this is what we don't want, and this is why we changed the ecosystem and separated the engagement types. And so yes and no, but I think what we see mainly, like over 90%, is that people talk about the technology. They use AI to inform themselves, and it really brings more value to the whole quality of conversations in a community, because now you have something you can talk about. Which
Right.
is not the case in all communities. And then you have this good feeling. And we of course we have some heavy users that say that they feel a little bit weird when they engage in a community that does not have Siva. But it's more like they love it so much and they miss it when it's not there. It's not that they do not engage there, so it's not that they say, okay, here's not Siva, I don't say a word. It's just this feeling that you don't have this little satisfaction when you when you engage. And
Right.
this is actually what I say, this is what we want. We want to be this little part of satisfaction for you on an everyday basis. And yeah, so I don't really think that it's always, of course, up for characters. So I
Of
don't want
course.
to say this doesn't exist, but it's really the main part, like over 90%, is really that it brings more value and quality.
And of these communities that were, you see obviously a massive uptick. I think you told me, what was it, 300% uptick in engagement in the communities that bring Siva in. You suddenly see that people are writing more meaningful messages. What kind of communities are responding best to Siva?
It's mainly really Web3 communities right now. So and there are every community. So it's really that we don't have any event or someone who said we don't love the idea, we kick Siva again. Yeah, it's really that we have basically no return value of of the bot.
Right.
So everyone is happily and satisfied, and it's really not. It's really for everyone, and not even Web3. So it's as I said, you don't have to know anything about Web3 to use Siva. And
Right.
so it's really hard to track down or target audience, basically.
Okay, interesting. I just wondered if, a gaming community might be kind of more interested in something like this, because there is a slight element of gameplay perhaps, because you know that there's a reward attached. But you're saying Web3 in general, and actually all communities are responding positively, which is great. And it's great that there's only positive things that you can say, but there must be a downside somewhere for this particular part of Siva. There must be something that you're noticing that you hadn't expected. It's maybe in the tracking of engagement, maybe where the engagement is tracked, how much it's tracked. What is that, and what are you guys doing then to kind of mitigate against it?
Yeah, I think we have calculated everything down to every nut and bolt, and we just always say that every calculation is 100% in the green, that we did over a year ago, based on numbers that we just came up with, basically measured from researchers, and based on gut feelings and numbers, of course. And but I think no, it's not really that it happened, because everything
Right.
is so under control that we have updated. As I said, the heat-based security system is maybe one of the things, because we wanted to automate that when users engage in an artificial way. In a server that has, for example, as I already said, this is why we appreciate moderators and administrators so much. This cannot happen in a moderated server, that you can just spam messages. But as Siva is free, for everyone. You can just create your own thing and have a bot running or something. And this is what we prevent with these kind of things. But as we have active measurements and monitoring of the whole ecosystem, as I said, I worked for 7 years as an IT security auditor for KPMG, and this is why I learned really how to do my thing security wise, and everything is built on the foundation of security. And we haven't had a single breach up to this day.
Great, thank you. Okay, whitelist solution. The solution that means people can come in and customize this, completely, or white label, I should say, solution. People can customize this as much as they want. Talk me through that. I guess you guys are super excited about that. Have you noticed any use cases that you found particularly genius and clever that you want to reference and that you're kind of looking at as inspiration for other things that you're building out?
Yeah, definitely. So we have so many use cases right now. It's and you guys are one of them. It's really mind blowing because even if I'm the lead developer behind everything, it's so highly modular. And this was the first approach that we wanted to give you guys the most freedom to really customize everything. And we of course have to comply to all the tokenomics that are out there. If you, for example, compare Doge and Bitcoin. These are complete different numbers from different universes, and this can be implemented with Siva. And so yeah, the live token gate is one of the things that one of the first implementers came across, that he basically said that we developed a more or less accidentally like a live token gate, what Colab Land is known for, because and this is live because on every rewarded engagement we check if you still hold, for example, the Siva tokens, and if you hold them, you still hold your role, and if you have sold it, you will lose the role. And so it's so highly modular, and as I said, it can even be implemented in a game. If you want to have the resources in your game earned by community engagement, you can implement it this way. And we just recently implemented ERZ 1155, another standard which is used in games. And as you said, gaming communities, of course, love the bot too. It's we have an advanced leveling system implemented in Siva too, so you can have role rewards and rewards attached to leveling ups and use levels as requirements. As I said, so it's so highly modular that the possibilities are nearly endless.
Which is, again, great. And I know we had this private conversation, and there are only a very few amount of things that, if there isn't enough demand for it at this precise moment in time, you won't be able to build out. And even then you'll consider it if you think it's going to be something that someone's going to want in the future, right?
Yeah, definitely. This is what we always have to take into careful considerations where we invest the time and the new features. And we have so many new things up our sleeve. As I already just said a lot of times, vote to earn with weighted votes. So asset-based voting basically will be released next week. And so you can set up a token and have it weighted for the vote. And I think this is one of the a tick on a lot of roadmaps and a lot of projects. And we will have.
And how do you think that might change the approach for projects who, once this is released, are going to be able to utilize that?
I think they will see that we really provide serious tools for them to really push their community forward and their whole project forward. And this is what we really want to provide: cool tools to engage communities and help projects. And as I said, we will have mini games implemented. They will come very soon to even have more engagements in communities where you can even play PvP against other players, but in a friendly way. So you will never find any bombs or any shootings here. Maybe racist because we are from Germany and love cars. This will be the only way. And
I think weighted votes based on engagement is a very fascinating route to take, because I think it is, like you said, one of the biggest gaps that needed to be plugged. Is it not just it being about how many tokens you might hold or how much money you put into something, but also actually how invested you are with your time to a project. So being able to tie votes to that is going to be highly beneficial to any space that really values your time over anything else that you're giving them.
I think so, yeah. And I think one of the biggest steps that we will take in the next days and weeks is that we will have all the new features released as a web-based version too. So the voting feature, the mini games, everything will be playable and doable on our website too. So
Right.
we move in really. So we are mostly known for the Discord bot, but we, as I said, we have to start somewhere, and we chose Discord and Twitter, and
Yes.
yeah, but we are really not tied to anything.
No, and wanting to branch out very quickly, and I'm going to get you to recap some of the exciting things that you have to announce that's maybe a bit of alpha. I know you've kind of dropped some of it already. Another question I did have is, are there engagements that you guys are trying to reward but haven't been able to facilitate yet? And if so, what kind of engagements are those?
The first thing is that we definitely wanted to reward Twitter Space participation. But the problem was that the Twitter API, as I said, they closed down. But when we thought about it, wasn't really there that we cannot measure how long you have stayed on a Twitter space. Or for example, what you asked about too is to reward someone, for example, to be in a stage channel or in a speak channel. But we really have the problem that. That maybe we will have it for custom versions, but definitely not for the public version. But there's no way for us, and this is the same discussion as with the content quality or the content that your members write. We don't want to know what they write. It's none of our business. And this is the same, especially even more critical, if you ask me, to maybe track if you are talking. And then you can just have your favorite podcast playing, which we couldn't really measure. And then, of course, you can always go one step further and analyze what you have said and compare it to a database that have podcasts and so on. But this is why we don't really have implemented it yet, because it's not really serious and it could be used for malicious use cases. The only thing that we might come up with is to have like be 2 minutes a day in a channel. But we always want to, of course, bring value to projects. And what is the value? It just gets farmed. And that's it. This is why we haven't implemented it for Twitter Spaces. We don't want the community members to just farm the engagement, join the space, and directly leave the space again. We want to reward them if they, for example, stay for 3 minutes or 5 minutes, because this brings value to the space and to the project.
It's almost going to be the holy grail, kind of being able to reward people just for listening, right? Just for turning up and listening to something like this. I imagine once you figure out which angle you can do this from that still sits within your ethical views, I imagine that's going to be the pinnacle for both of you.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't really think, because I think about this problem, of course, for a long time. And especially now in AI times, I don't really think that there will ever be a way to really maybe through some token gated things, but this is really again, then you can bot it again. So it can really not be prevented, especially when you can have all voices generated with AI. You can just have your recording and have your recording rewarded.
Right. Yes. You said there were some exciting things that you guys are releasing. I know we've already discussed them. Do you want to recap those? And then I'm sure there's a ton of things, because there's just so much that you guys are doing. I'm sure there's a ton of things that I haven't covered that you wish I had. Feel free to drop some of those things in.
Yeah, for sure. So the announcements, as we already talked about, the Vote2Earn with weighted or asset-based vote is one of the big things, because it comes with a complete revamp of the back end. And so the account page will be much more usable when we release the mini games within the next month is our approach, that we release the first 3 of them. This is one of the biggest announcements. We just released today the new heat-based security system, which I do not go more into detail into. We will have raffles soon, so that you can participate in raffles. This will be. We will have various ones. One of them will be the more Siva tokens you hold, the more raffle tickets you generate. This will be the point in time where you definitely want to have some Siva. And I think one of the coolest things will be a feature where you can collect wallets, because we see a lot of times that people struggle with collecting wallets in a secure way. And as we already have the wallet addresses, we just have a new command for project owners or company owners to, for example, have all the wallet addresses from a certain Discord role, for example.
Right.
These are the main announcements.
Great.
Maybe
One of
to
the-
add also tipping quests
please.
and tasks.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, tipping is of course one of the most requested features. This will be within the next week, where you can tip engagement points to other people. And once we
wow.
have account abstraction 4337, you will be able to tip crypto directly to others and transfer crypto directly to others. The quests and tasks, and this is where we can shortly go into the quote unquote competition. It's more these artificial engagement, this one-time engagements, what we currently do not have. But quest and task will have their place in Siva. So you can have a few more things because we want to bring value, and you can have really valuable questions that you can ask your community about the project, about security questions that we can reward, and this is why we do it. And this is.
Are you guys finding a question that immediately comes into my head, especially when you talk about the tipping? Are you guys finding that Siva as a bot, when implemented, begins to make people more altruistic, that they want to give back more and now want to find solutions by which they can begin to give back more?
Yeah, 100%.
Right. That must be a really interesting position for you guys to be in. That must have been something that was very interesting when it first started, because typically with these things, like you said, right at the start, people will start refreshing to see their balances. They're going to claim 500 times a day because they want to try and get as much as they can. But then once that excitement kind of starts to fade, because you get used to the pattern of it, actually what I imagine has happened a lot of the times, as I just mentioned, is that people suddenly start to think, well, actually, how can someone else benefit from this as well?
Yeah, this is what I already said. Our community is awesome, and they spread the word because they are the most affected ones. It's really that, and we see it from other communities too. That other community members join our community to know more about the technology and to spread the word too. And this is of course the most mind blowing thing, and we are really really honored to be in this position. To be honest, to really be able to change lives using technology is of course the most coolest thing that you can do with technology, if you ask me.
Right. Yeah, agreed. So the token price, what supports it? One of the first things anybody's going to ask is, well, what stops this token just from spiraling out of control downwards, other than, of course, the slow drip that you have through the NFTs that you provide. So what does? I know I imagine there must be some kind of external revenue stream in the background.
Yeah, exactly. We have 11 revenue streams in total. So this is, as I said, we treat Siva as a company, and the whole when the company participates, and the whole community participates. This is how we build everything, and we share all the revenue 50-50 with the relay wallet that we have to give back to our community. The tokens, or a lot of tokens in our public ecosystem, as I said, are stored on a non-custodial wallet held by our partners, so we don't have custody of their tokens. This is of course one of the most coolest thing that we have. That lets me sleep really well at night. And as I said, we have 11 revenue streams. So maybe I can quickly name a few. We have, of course cross-project revenue. We have Discord security services, as you know. So if you, especially in the Web3 space, Discord security is, of course, a really important thing to talk about and to think about, as there's financial value involved and reputation and all these kind of things. And nearly every Discord that I join is not optimized. Let me put it in this way.
Right, and you keep getting told off for giving people a little bit of advice here and there, I hear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I love it. It's like my daily job for so many years. I really breathe security and try to spread it in my friend circle of friends and my family.
Right.
And everyone I'm in contact with. We have donations as the revenue, so we asked people that want to provide their token through our public ecosystem for a reasonable amount as a donation to the whole company. We have sponsorings in plan for the commands that we have and for the website. We will take transaction fees on withdrawals, which will be around 2 or 3%. so really don't hurt anyone. We have the creative art studio, so we have a CG artist in our team, which is me also. So I do the CG graphics with
Right.
Blender, and this is when we have some offers and some stuff to do. We get paid in Siva, and this get fed back, of course, and basically like a payback. We have passive income from other NFT projects and partner projects that we buy for the whole company, and have passive income as a revenue stream. We will have advertisements soon, and you get rewarded for example, viewing an ad. I don't really like this concept, but I think this is a good revenue stream for us. This is why we will come up with a really cool feature where you get rewards for watching an ad for let's say 5 seconds, for example, and you can unlock features like the featured project on our website will be unlockable with Siva too. So these are the revenue streams that we currently have.
And for anybody that's interested in, in the spirit of transparency, how transparent are you with the details of how much you're making and how much you're giving back to the token to, support it? Can they find that data? Is there somewhere they're going to be able to see all of that information in one go?
It's all on blockchain. So this is what I love about blockchain too. It's the transparency and the immutability, of course. So there's no hiding in Web3. This is what I appreciate the most. So we are 100% transparent, and there's not a single question that we couldn't answer in 1.5 years. So, and I always love challenging questions. So, yeah, it's always I have really deep going answers if you want. So I can make it quick,
I'm noticing that you guys are very difficult to pin down, because I mean it just speaks on how much you've thought about the product that you've put out there. So it's only a good thing that you can give such deep, comprehensive answers or short answers depending on the desirability of someone to listen and your time, of course, constraints.
It can be pretty technical, but then just chime in and stop me, because I can get really boring with technical details.
or I jump in and with this translation thing.
Right,
yeah,
I
exactly.
see. Yep. So here's a personal question of your interpersonal dynamics. Which brother has the final say?
Oh, I think it's really democratic in here.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. I mean, teams always say that, but I know. I mean, I have a brother myself, and eventually someone wins. So I'm sure.
I think it's Lars. He's the older one. So if he really puts a veto in it, then I just don't do it. So
you listen, right?
Yeah.
And on teams, how big is your team?
We are currently 7 people. So both of us. We have Christine at the UX designer the designer, and we have Tanya as the artist. We have Justin, who helps out with. We of course have heavy operations in the background, like databases and networks and all this kind of stuff. And we have Ryan from Canada, and he helps us out with tokenomics and with the launch on QuickSwap, for example. And yeah, and we have Siva, of course, which is our guard dog, and she's a Belgian Shepherd, black Belgian Shepherd, and my PFP, if you know.
Right. Yeah, I was going to actually ask where the name come from. It was going to be one of my last questions, but you beat me to it. It comes from the dog, right? The dog came first.
Exactly. Yeah, we are totally aware that it is a goddess in I think Hinduism, and so this is what we of course celebrate too. But yeah, it's primarily it's the name of our dog. Yep.
Right. Great. And when you guys start thinking about expansion, when you're at that size where you do need to expand, given the ethos that you guys have of wanting to reward for engagement, are you going to be looking in-house to people? Are you perhaps going to be jumping into Discords where they're utilizing Siva to see who are perhaps the most engaged community members, and think about maybe bringing someone onto the team from one of those environments?
Yeah, 100%. So, but this is of course something that we can only consider when we have enough funding behind the whole ecosystem. And before we started the ITO, basically Lars and I paid everything out of our private pockets.
Right.
for the whole development and up to this point. And so we of course would love to have more people engaged in this is of course we always want to give back and pay them back, and this is what we can we will have and hire people when we can ensure that we can at least pay them for a few years or months.
Great.
But yeah,
thank
definitely.
you.
So leaderboards are definitely on the roadmap too. So we will have extensive leaderboards. One of the coolest features we haven't talked about is the hype trains. So if your community has engaged more than 100 times within 1 hour, your community will be considered a hype train and will be on top of our website. So the website gets another revamp, and then we will have a really cool race on our website where you can always jump into the most active communities.
Oh, that's interesting. That's very fun. I like that a lot. That's a very fun concept, actually. When I'm sitting here, kind of interviewing people and speaking to them about everything that they're implementing, my brain has to automatically go to if there are any downsides as well as the upsides. Is there a concern that perhaps when you do implement that there are some discords that might get left behind because there are maybe larger communities that can offer rewards that aren't Siva to encourage people to jump in and keep them at the top of that leaderboard?
No, because we always take only the rewarded engagements into considerations. And I think
Right.
we will have a global leaderboard. So as I said, it will there will be a little bit of competition, but we don't really want to have like a community war or something like this. We want it to be a friendly competition, and everyone should push each other and not try to down push each other. You know, this is
Agreed.
our ethos. Yep.
Gentlemen, if there isn't anything else that you guys want to cover, I'm aware that I've had you now for about an hour and 15 minutes. I mean, I could probably go on for hours just picking this apart, but I got to say, we've implemented Siva. We're already rewarding people through engagement here. I hope that all of the people listening do want to suddenly start jumping in and really engaging. We're going to implement the bot where they can perhaps see when they're earning those rewards to make it exciting for them. I'm looking forward to having a closer relationship with you guys and really looking through that white label option to see how it can most benefit us, because I think our ethoses align perfectly, and community should always come first, and that's what we want to do here, and that's obviously what you guys are doing.
Awesome. Yeah, as I said in the back channels, I have a really cool idea, and everything works out of the box, so we can have everything up and running within weeks when we have everything set up. And I think it's like a more or less really fully automated solution for your community and for the whole team. And this is what we always want to be. We want to take off the workload of teams and don't want to be to provide more workload. That wouldn't make sense.
Well, it's very exciting, and I hope everybody listening jumps into the Discord. Obviously, for the giveaways to be eligible, you have to jump into the Discord. So we're just going to link that one last time, so people jump in, have conversations, ask questions. I mean, everybody is able to hear that you guys are, particularly comprehensive with your responses. You know what you're talking about, and you're able to, pick it apart. Great. Thank you so much. I would love to have a follow-up conversation with you guys in a couple of weeks' time.
Awesome.
Perhaps when the dust settles on how much you guys are releasing in the short term, and maybe we can just kind of have another conversation and sift through perhaps some more particulars on things.
Yeah, awesome. 100%. Let's do it. And
Great.
thank you too. So it was really a pleasure to talk to you. I was here yesterday, so kudos for the talk yesterday too. It was really amazing and informative. And today too, I really enjoyed the talk. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys. You guys made it easy. Very kind words. Thank you. You guys have a fantastic evening, and I really look forward to speaking to you again.
It was a pleasure
Likewise,
to
man.
meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Stay
very much.
safe.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.